The Mother's Promise Part 1. The evening air in Lagos hung heavy with heat and dust, pressing against Ada's skin like a second layer. The street was alive in the way it always was, voices calling out, car horns blaring, laughter mixing with arguments. Neon lights flickered above small shops, casting uneven shadows on the cracked pavement where she stood. Ada adjusted the strap of her worn handbag and leaned against a rusted pole at the corner. Her eyes moved carefully, watching faces, reading intentions. She had learned long ago how to tell the difference between danger and opportunity, though sometimes the two looked the same. For years, this had been her life. She didn't remember exactly when things had changed, when survival became something she had to bargain for every night. At first, she had fought it. She had told herself it was temporary, just one more night, just until she found something better. But temporary had stretched into years. Some men were quiet and distant, treating her like she wasn't even there. Others were rough, careless with both their words and hands. A few were kind, but kindness, she had learned, was often the most dangerous illusion of all. It made you hope, and hope, in her world, was a fragile thing. That evening, however, something felt different. A dull ache had been building in her body for days. At first, she ignored it, pushing through the weakness the same way she always did. But now, standing under the fading light, her head spun slightly. The noise around her blurred, and she had to steady herself against the pole. "Ada, you okay?" A familiar voice called from across the street. She forced a small smile and nodded. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. Later that night, after turning away two potential customers, something she rarely did, Ada found herself walking toward a small clinic, tucked between a pharmacy and a closed grocery store. The fluorescent light above the entrance buzzed faintly, and the smell of antiseptic hit her the moment she stepped inside. It was quiet, too quiet compared to the chaos outside. She sat on a hard plastic chair, her hands clasped tightly together. For the first time in a long while, there was nothing to distract her, no noise, no negotiations, no pretending, just her thoughts. After what felt like hours, a nurse called her name and led her into a small room. The walls were pale, the air cool. Ada sat on the edge of the examination bed, her heart beating faster than she expected. The doctor arrived shortly after, a middle-aged woman with tired but kind eyes. She asked a few questions, ran some tests, and then stepped out briefly. Ada stared at the floor. Something inside her stirred, an uneasiness she couldn't explain. When the doctor returned, her expression had changed. It wasn't alarm, but it wasn't casual either. "Ada," she said gently, taking a seat across from her. "There's something you need to know." Ada's fingers tightened around the edge of the bed. "You're pregnant." The words landed softly, but their weight was overwhelming. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. "Pregnant?" Ada blinked, as if trying to wake herself from a dream. Her mind raced, but no clear thought formed. Just one feeling: fear. Deep, consuming fear. She thought of the streets, the men, the nights that blurred into each other, the life she had been trapped in for so long. And then, slowly, something else began to rise beneath the fear. A question. What now? Her hand moved instinctively to her stomach, resting there as if searching for confirmation. It felt unreal, impossible. Yet, in that quiet room, it was the only thing that felt true. "You'll need to take care of yourself," the doctor continued softly. "This changes things." Yes, it changed everything. Ada left the clinic in a daze. The night air was cooler now, the noise of the city returning as she stepped back onto the street. But it no longer felt the same. For the first time, the corner where she stood every night didn't feel like survival. It felt like a trap. She watched as other women took their places, calling out softly, negotiating, living the life she knew too well. For years, she had stood among them without question. But now she couldn't imagine bringing a child into that world. Her child. The thought sent a shiver through her. Ada wrapped her arms around herself and took a slow step back from the corner. Then another. Each step felt heavy, uncertain, but also different. Like she was walking away from something she could never return to. The street didn't call her back. Instead, for the first time in years, Ada felt something unfamiliar settle deep within her chest. A fragile, trembling resolve. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered to herself. Her voice was soft, but steady, as she turned and walked into the night, away from the only life she had known. Ada didn't yet have a plan. She didn't know where she would go or how she would survive. But one thing had become clear. She was no longer living just for herself. And somewhere in that uncertain darkness, a promise was born.